Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Good morning. Welcome. It's so nice to have you here on such a beautiful day. It's kind of cool out, and the smoke seems to be dissipating a bit. And somebody said, "Isn't it awful that it's smoky outside?" I said, "It's to remind us to put people in prayer who are living in a place where it's smoky." And I think that's one of the things we forget. We don't want to be uncomfortable, but we're not near as uncomfortable as the people who are suffering from the flames.
I remember how we were last year at this time.
Yes. Last year was pretty difficult. We want to put all of our prayers and energy into helping Deb Samper. Dr. Deb had a horrible stroke on Wednesday night. So bad that they had to take a chunk of her skull because her brain was swelling so fast. Now that's a bad stroke. That means there was a hemorrhage of some kind also. I talked to her husband, Jim, this morning, and he said that she's still not quite stable. I don't know what not quite stable means, but it sounds scary to me. And so we want to pray. And as we pray for her, what we want to do is pray that she gets to make the decision of whether she wants to stay or go. I don't know if you realize that there's a point towards the end of our lives where we have the chance to make that decision. And sometimes we take it away in being selfish and want to keep that person here. So anytime you hear that somebody is at that place, at that door, you say, I pray that you can have that decision made by you to either stay here or to leave. Okay. So I'd like you all to just take a moment and close your eyes. And for those of you know our wonderful Dr. Deb, visualize her in your mind's eye. And for those of you who maybe have never even heard her name, please know that this is a beautiful woman, a young woman, who is a chiropractor, a healer, with a beautiful personality. And right now her husband is so grief-stricken. And so would you think of these two? One who is worried about loss, and the other that's trying to figure out, am I ready to leave? And just take Deb Samper and her husband Jim, and take a moment to say your special prayer. And you want to say it out loud, or if you want to say it silently. And I'm going to pray, Creator, please assist our wonderful Dr. Deb in the decision that she needs to make of whether she wants to stay here on this planet Earth or leave and be back into your loving arms. And please support her husband during this difficult time, knowing that this is one of the worst things he will ever have to suffer through. It's not knowing whether his beloved is going to be here or is going to go. And we ask you, dear Creator, to put your love and shine your light on this couple as they're experiencing one of the most difficult things that we mortals have to go through. And so it is. Well, thank you all so very much for joining with me on this. We have, I don't know if you get the CCL Insights, but today's interesting because our speaker is not going to be here. She's going to be here. And if you don't know Reverend Monnica Sepulveda, you're in for a treat. Yes. She is quite a delightful human being, and I got to listen to her give her talk, so I know it's a good one. And next week we're going to have our Reverend Dr. Janet Childs is going to be speaking, and I don't know what she's going to be speaking about because it's called The Third Wave. And I don't know whether it's like this. I don't know whether it's like this. I'm not too sure what kind of wave that is. But we know it's going to be exciting and it's going to be interesting, and that feels good. And then our own Associate Pastor, Reverend Ann, is going to be speaking August 22nd. And that's just, it's a couple of weeks before your birthday, isn't it? I was thinking it's getting close to your birthday. No, so that's always nice. My birthday is going to be celebrated on the 29th here, and it's going to be called Holiday Celebration. We're going to get all the boxes down with all the holiday stuff in it, and you can take it, buy it, or whatever, because we're giving it away. So if you need something for Halloween, if you need something for Christmas or New Year's or Hanukkah, or if you need something for Kwanzaa or Flag Day, yeah, Gay Pride. I mean, rock and roll. I mean, we have it for every event you can imagine. Boxes of stuff. And as you know, we're getting rid of everything. Right now, we have some beautiful vases in the hallway for $1. All our books now are free for this Sunday. You're here at this Sunday. You can take as many bags of books as you want to haul out of here, okay? Because we want them to go to people that we know want them. We don't want to have to take them to landfill or to the library or to Savers. We want, because so many of them are spiritual books, we want them to go to people who really want them. And people who, just a minute, Annie, and people who are watching this on Zoom or who see this video, you're part of our community. Just let me know if there's any type of books you would like, and I'll go through and grab someone to keep them for you. Okay? Yes, Ann.
I was just going to say, I believe that Reverend April put a claim on the Native American Métis scene.
No, she's shaking. She's right here, and she's shaking her head. No.
I think you said that at our staff. No, that might have been somebody else. I said I was. Oh, maybe it was Donna. Yeah. Maybe it was Donna. Someone said they wanted the Native American.
Okay, yeah, we have a Native American scene. We have a very Christian scene. We have Alaskan Eskimo. Thank you very much. Inuit, I think it is. One. So we have a lot of different things, different holidays. So my birthday is a holiday this year, and so we'd like to have you join us for that. Okay.
And the party's going to be in the morning because we have another event here in the afternoon.
Yeah, so we're going to have the party here in the morning.
So be here right after church.
Church and a little bit beyond, okay? Yeah, that's going to be it. So, okay, it's in the progress of being prepared. The other thing that I want to talk about is, I mentioned this 3 times now. This is the 4th time I've mentioned it, and I'm still hearing people say, they should be doing. Stop it. And I don't think I shared a reading that I did. And it was really important for me, and I want to share it with you. It just happened to be I was doing a reading on a young Black woman. Doesn't make any difference, except it has a bearing on this, because she was saying, well, he can't do that, and he can't do this, and he shouldn't do that, and he's bad if he does this. And my spirit guide said, wait, you don't own that person. You have no right to tell him what to do. And she said, yes, I do, because, and Ma said, right now you're displaying ownership over another person. And what that's called is slavery. And she went, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. And I said, that's okay, my dear, I hadn't either. But doesn't that put things in perspective? When you're telling somebody, now, when you're raising children, that's different. But when it's an adult to an adult, you're trying to tell them how wrong they are. And I don't care if they live in Georgia and they voted for Trump and they're anti-vax. You do not own them. And you're telling them what to do is not going to change their mind. So what you want to do is stop and say, what I can tell them is that I love them and that they're a child of God. And that's about it. And this young lady, she's called me since and said, you changed my whole belief in life and the way I look at things. I said, yeah, me too. I said, your reading changed me. Thank you so very much. Okay, and that's what happens. For those of you who do readings, when you say something and you go, whoa, either write it down or say to your brain, I want to remember this. Okay? Well, we're going to start out with a prayer. And Annie, are you ready to do a prayer?
Ready for the movie.
Okay. Come on up.
Okay.
And Clyde, if you could do the lights, please. Clyde, could you do the lights?
What do you want done?
Oh, I was just going to turn them down a little bit. Does that?
We're already down.
We're already down.
Oh, you are so smart. Right here, I'm in bright light.
You have a
Okay.
spotlight on you, Jared. 'cause you're on the
Thank
camera.
you. Oh, thank
You
you.
want to sit on the pillow over
I'm
here?
gonna.
or do you wanna sit over here?
I'm just gonna sit down right here
Okay.
and watch your behind. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, okay.
If it does anything unusual, I'll tell them.
You'll tell if my behind does something unusual. That should be really interesting. Oh my goodness. Well, good morning, everyone. Don is making sound effects back here. She's So I just want to say, what did I tell you last week? I told you she would be back, didn't I? And I told you that she would be here and she would be okay. Your prayers helped with that. Your love helped with that. Your chanting helped with that. You know, and Corky certainly had a big part in that. You know, yay. It's like, so blessed be for all of that. I'm so happy that I'm standing here and Dottie's watching my behind. So they're, it's like, yeah, things are back to normal. You know, it made me think about what you were just talking about, Dottie, that when you tell somebody that you should, you're adding to the energy that's being reflected so much right now. There's a lot of people out there saying, you know, oh, those stupid people who did this, or those or those terrible people that did that. And we all know that hate can create more hate. So what we're here to do is spread the love around. And it doesn't mean that things aren't happening, but it doesn't have to affect us because it's inside of us. We are one with the Creator. And the Creator knows that if we take care of ourselves and we are lighting up our lights, we are putting that out like a pebble going out, and you know, in a pond that just ripples out. So your love ripples out to somebody else. Somebody's having a really bad day and they could be really crabby, and you could just look at them and give them a beautiful smile and tell them how pretty their scarf is, or you know, or something of that sort, and you're just going to bring about a smile to them. That's what today's about. That's what every day is about, every minute. So let's close our eyes and take a nice deep breath in. Let's breathe in all that love, light, joy, beauty, connection to Creator. Hold on to that. Give it loving energy. And then breathe out. And as you're breathing out, I want you to take everything that is weighing on your heart and soul right here and right now, and anything that is a worry for you or less than, and place it in, that's right, and place it in the pretend virtual basket that is sitting right next to you. Because our Creator can take these energies and transmute them into something wonderful and beautiful. Let's breathe in again and breathe out. Dearest Mother, Father God, our dear Creator, thank you for this wonderful day. Thank you for our lives. And thank you for our beautiful health and for all of our loving light that we are today. We give thanks as this is a very special day. It's the Lionsgate opening, and the Lionsgate Creator, as you know, is to help each of us step up to our highest potential We have opportunities, as this is a cosmic thing, where the gates open up and we can step up to who we are. So let's be in that loving Leo energy and that loving energy of the Lion's Gate. And let's know that the Creator is helping us to be our perfect selves as we grow and we change and we learn and we let go. Creator, bless all of those who are dealing with health issues and fires and drought and flood and anything that, that is causing an issue for people in their survival and in them allowing themselves to have a positive feeling about their lives. We know that somehow you are here with us always, protecting each and every one of us and giving us a beautiful, loving energy, and that we are safe in your loving arms. Regardless of any of the outcomes, it is always what is right for us. May we always be open to what is right for us. Follow our hearts as you lead us. Follow our energies that you lead us to. Let us make our best choices and decisions. We thank you for that, Creator. We thank you for your loving light always. As we gather together today, both virtually and in person, we are so blessed to be together with the knowledge that you stand with us, Creator, and you remind us that we are the light of the world, and we do share and give and care, and by doing that, we spread it out to others. Creator, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you teach us. And thank you for our beautiful babies and for all of our wonderful moms and dads and grandparents and aunts and uncles and everybody who becomes a part of a community helping with our children and with our children's children. May this day be whatever we wish it to be. Creator, with your help, we know it's going to be perfect. No matter what the appearance is at this moment in time, give it some time. Look at, we look at you, Creator, and we know that you have led us to our most perfect moment of the day. And we say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Blessed be, amen, and so it is. Okay. I'm standing by just in case.
Thank you all for praying for me and putting in your healing hands, and thank you for watching me as I pull myself across the floor. But I'm breathing. That was the big thing last week. I wasn't able to breathe. I don't know if any of you know anything about congestive heart failure, but what that means is your heart starts having fluid around it, and it's hard for you to breathe, but it's also hard on your heart. So, and what you do is you take this miserable drug called Lasix, and you get rid of all the liquid in your body. And so what I did, I got rid of all the liquid in my body, and then I had major cramps in my legs because I had gotten rid of all the liquid in my body. So then I started drinking a lot of water, and then I couldn't breathe. So it was one of those, you didn't want me here. But we've got it pretty much under control. But take care of yourself. It's important that when you feel you can't do something, say, I can't do it. It used to be that the way you raise children was, I don't care what it is, you're going to do it. And now we realize that doesn't work, because you get little robot that just does what they're told. And what we want is to raise children who think for themselves. And sometimes you want to say, yeah, but I don't want you to think for yourself. Yes, you do. You really do. I'd like to have our wonderful Reverend Dr. Janet Child lead us in a meditation. I know this was a wonderful prayer that we had with Reverend Annie, but because of all the things going on in the world, I think we need a little bit more of just a relaxation. And Rosalie's going to add accompaniment.
Absolutely. So my wonderful sound engineer is telling me I need to be up there.
I'm going to go over here and...
Right over here, Mr. Ed, or no?
Closer to the mic.
Well,
Closer to the mic.
I don't know if you saw what my mask says, but
Good trouble.
in honor of Mr. Lewis.
I love it.
And so I'm going to...
That's probably okay, Jen.
Yeah, well, I can sit down and let her...
Stand up.
Stand
Yeah.
up. Okay.
There we go. Stand up.
Sit down, stand up.
Stay there, honey. You can stay there.
Are we doing the hokey
We're
pokey?
doing the hokey pokey, honey, but you can stay there.
I'd rather sit down and let
Okay.
you stay there. Come on. You got the...
She gets one.
I get to watch your butt now. Go on.
Got your back. There we go.
A whole new definition to I've got your back.
Okay, so if I push this down, I'll be in trouble, right?
No,
No. That's just a microphone,
you
Jerry.
get a free get out of jail card.
Oh, okay. Just so that it gets my guitar more.
So we can see your eyes.
That's minor compared to the chaos.
I love it. So let us just take a nice deep breath. And what I want you to do is shake out your body. As we're breathing, just shake it out. Shake it out. Whatever you've been holding this week, today when you woke up, last night when you went to bed, just shake it out. Shake it out. Know that we don't have to hold it. Yes, that's right, Rosalie. That's right. And by shaking it out, we're letting our body know, and we're giving our body permission to let that burden go. So you know how I always talk about the backpack. So I want you to grab the backpack. It's all of our past concerns, worries, cares, griefs. And I want you to pick it up, put it over your shoulders, and put it to the side. And if you want to throw it to the other side of the room, that's okay too.
Just take it with you when you go.
Absolutely. So just for this moment, we are in the present moment. And as we are in this moment, just know that you are like a seed. You are like a spark. You are like a raindrop. And your power of manifestation is what's going to bring healing to the earth. Yes, as we ride the waves of what our life brings us, just know that you are enough. You are enough. You are enough with your light shining. You are enough. You are enough with your spirit rising. Ooh, you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You're exactly what we need, exactly what the world is calling you to be, calling you to be, calling you to be. Manifest your dreams, manifest all that you can be, manifest your hopes, manifest all that you can do, manifest yourself, bring your light to the world, manifest all that you have, all that you have to bring, whether you're a baby or old, wise one, brand new, on the threshold of your life, bring it home, make it real, manifest, we can manifest, manifest the dream, manifest all that you can be. I said, manifest your life, manifest your dream, manifest all that you can be. And we call it home, we call it home. We call it, we call it, we call it home. So just imagine that you are in your body and your spirit completely, and where they meet is in the great center of our heart. And your mind wraps around you like a gossamer thread, binding all together. And your heart pulses and beats with every breath that you take. And we share that wonderful moment. And we bring our awareness to maybe that hidden dream, that unremembered seed, that spark that comes from the first star. And we go inside our heart, that great meeting place, and we find it. And we bring it forth. And we know that we are enough. Only we can bring what we bring. Just allow yourself to know and feel you are enough. You are enough. We are enough. I am enough. You are enough. We are enough. I am enough. I am enough. You are enough. We are enough. We are enough. I am enough. And allow it to just fill you up. Bring you to this moment of your fullness, your ability to manifest whatever it is that you have to bring to this moment, to this world, to this time. We are enough. We are enough. You are enough. I am enough. We are enough. We are enough. You are enough. I am enough. And we manifest, 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 manifest your dreams, manifest, 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 manifest. You are enough. We are enough. I am enough. We are manifest. And come back here, my friends, with your fullness, with all that you are, with all that you breathe, with all that you bring. And know, as you feel that tingling throughout your entire body, know that that's what you bring to the world. And just take a nice deep breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your wonderful body in the seat. And open your eyes and look at each other and how lucky we are to be here.
is so wonderful. Thank you so very much. I so appreciate that. And now I know you have a previous engagement.
I'm going to stay for a little bit, as long as I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Janet is doing a funeral or celebrating life today. But she wore black to be looking pious. I think it makes her look sexy. I don't know. Very, very beautiful, beautiful outfit. I don't think we've seen that before. Thank you so very much. Corgi, do you want to introduce Monica?
Oh,
You,
Zoom. I'll go this way.
Hi.
Hi, so Reverend Monnica Sepulveda was my sponsor, along with Father Lawrence and John Lawrence. And I was taking classes from her before I met Dottie. And so one of the things that she taught us was a mantra to manifest whatever we wanted. It was like almost guaranteed, as much as you can guarantee that kind of stuff, right? That if you did this religiously, twice a day, and it was pretty long, you had to really focus on what it was you wanted. You had to do the Om Mani Padme Om for like 100,000 times every twice a day, and then focus on what it was. She said, you write it down so that you don't speak it the same way each time. And within 2 weeks, I met Dottie. So Sepulveda, Reverend Monnica Sepulveda, she's been a member of UCM for over 50 years. And she's just awesome. And it was kind of interesting because Annie was saying that she'd heard her on the radio and all this kind of stuff, and that she was so surprised that she was a member of UCM. And it's great. You're going to enjoy this. She's a very good presenter. Thank you.
Hi, this is Reverend Monnica Sepulveda, and today I'm going to talk about speak it into existence. A lot of people these days are having difficulty learning how to manifest, and yet we've learned so many lessons in the past decades. But I found something that actually really works. And like you, I learn every day. I've been with UCM now for 49 years and will be completing my 50th anniversary next May, 2022. So as a person who teaches, I'm also still a student. Isn't that amazing? One of the biggest things I found, even when I started doing readings in 1972 professionally, is that people still have difficulty with self-love. And they treat other people better than themselves. And that's kind of crazy when you think about it, because let's break this down. We are a spirit with a body and a mind and emotions. But why do we ignore that spirit? That spirit is love. And we are connected to the source of love. Some people call God, higher power, universe, the I am, the Om, spirit, many names, but they're all still love. It doesn't matter. Just know that it's love. And when we connect with it, because it's always connected to us, but we disconnect with it. That when we connect with it every morning, I just simply put my hand on my heart and just put my hand up and say, I am one with the source of love. We are one, we are love, we are light. We are one, we are love, we are light. We are one, we are love, we are light. Then I change it and do the same thing 3 times. And then I go like this and do it 3 times. It's a total of 9 times, which is the number of completion. And I always feel serene about 5 minutes later. So I always acknowledge that I'm connected, working in tandem with the source of love. Because we are spirit, the only thing that defines us is one word, love. Who are you without your name, without your friends, without your job, without anything that's external? The answer to that question is, I am love. So when we stay there, it keeps us centered. And in spite of the things that we see externally, all the different chaos and things that are happening right now, we can just observe it. And wherever necessary, we send love to those who are in danger or harmed, such as the collapse that we had recently in Florida. You can send love from your heart. When you're centered like this and you're connected to the source, you can then turn around and send love out to the planet or to people or to animals or to hospitals, wherever you want it to go, it will go. So visualize a green light, a beam of light, just sending out and then sending it to either different people. Even on the prayer list, I do that. And also people that are grieving. We had a loss in my family just last night. One of my cousins passed. So it is paramount that you immediately share your love and send it out. That's why we're here. And that's what makes us really powerful. One person at a time. And I'm always hearing from people, I'm just one person. What can I do? And I go, a lot. You're so powerful. You can't even believe how powerful you are. When you align with love, there's nothing greater, and your light becomes so bright. I remember apporting myself to the Milky Way. It was about May of 2020. And as I was looking at the planets, our planet looked like a dark orange. And there was a voice that came to me. I just call it the voice because it was filled with love. And I said, whoa, why is our planet orange? Is it the pandemic? And he said, no. He said, it is sick. Your planet is sick. I said, but are you talking about the pandemic? And he said, no, people's lights are dimming. People's lights are dimming. There's so much fear, so much worry, so much doubt. People have disconnected. And it's like anything that's battery powered, it eventually runs out of juice and then it doesn't work anymore. So people are not connecting. But the pandemic happened for a good reason, because it got us to stop looking at our telephones and disconnecting from each other. We needed to go indoors in order to really look in the mirror, start with loving the self, and then sending that love to family and then to the planet. So there was a purpose behind it, but the young souls didn't get it. The young souls continue to I want to go to the beach, get me out of here. So what happened is that it continues. We had a contagion and it was very, very deadly. I had 10 friends and they got sick, and in 2 weeks, 5 of them passed away. So I knew that it was real. And I knew that it was intentional also. I don't want to get political in any way. I'm just saying that this is the images that I got from the voice. It gave me a lot of predictions for through the year and through this year. And every single thing that voice said to me was true. We need to speak things into existence once we become empowered. When you speak something into existence and I teach you how to do it, I don't want you to say, well, I'll give it a try. Well, there is no try. You either do it or you don't. That word try should be taken out of the dictionary. We learned this way back in the 70s when Yoda said there is no try. You either do or do not. And I got it the first time and realized that it was in fact true. So as you're going through aligning yourself every single morning, you must do it every single morning. It only takes a few minutes. And once you align, the second thing to do is to give thanks for all our blessings, because we're so blessed. Even with what we have, we're blessed. And even if we want more, we will get that. The key, again, looking at getting rid of the 3 toxic emotions, fear is an absence of love. If love makes all things manifest, do we have room for fear? No. FEAR, an acronym. False evidence appearing real. And the second one is worry, which is the opposite of trusting or faith. Trust in ourselves and trust in the process. We have to let go of control and work in tandem, which that created everything. And the third one is self-doubt or not feeling deserving. That's when we go back and saying, you know what? I am love. Of course, I'm unlimited and I deserve everything that I dream about and think about. So why am I saying speak it into existence? Because we must use the words. A word is really more powerful than the thoughts and the feelings and the belief systems. As soon as you say something, and say it colorfully if you want to, damn it, I deserve this, I am love, and there is no other option for me. The other kind of way that I used to think of feeling insecurity. And believe me, I've been there. Because a lot of people say, wow, you're so lucky and you get to meet all these people and you have all these great experiences. You don't want my upbringing, my childhood. You don't want my life. It was a nightmare. It was difficult and extremely painful. So I went through a lot in order to get to where I am right now. And the key here is that when I have been studying for like 55 years, I've learned a lot of solutions, which is why I love teaching people. And I'm teaching clients now, since I'm going to semi-retire next year. So now I get to teach people what to do and what I do. And so I love doing that. It makes me excited to be able to spend an hour every week or every 2 weeks with people and teaching them the new things that I learn. So how do you speak it into existence? I don't know if you remember an author that wrote books back in the 1920s and 30s. Her name was Florence Scovel Shinn, and she wrote a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It, Your Word is Your Wand, The Secret Door to Success, and The Power of the Spoken Word. Now it's compiled into one book. You can buy it on Amazon for like $15. And those books, I find that the books that were written in the early 1900s are the most enlightening, and they're special, and they get to the point in 75 pages instead of some of the new books that you have to buy that are like 200, 300, 400 pages long. They get right to the point. So find those books. Again, I like to go to Amazon because a lot of people like to get rid of their books there. And if you type it in, you might find a used copy for like $0.25. And so I would start looking. I have a ton of books and I don't loan them to anyone because they're so special and I like to read them. They get right to the point. The messages that we keep receiving, the lessons that we keep learning are just basically old information that gets redone. And so I like to go back to basics. So the basics here is, remember, I am love. I am one with the source of love, or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't care. But the voice said to me, you need to reconnect and tell everybody to reconnect. Then visualize what it is that you want. I have great stories about things that I've just manifested within 24 hours. It doesn't take very long anymore. We're in the age of Aquarius, where, as you probably noticed, things are moving very quickly. And this time, what's happening is we're getting rid of a lot of the old, a lot of the negative. So it's manifesting into disasters and violence. It's like purging the old in order to cleanse out the new. I would use an example, but I'm not going to because it's a little bit crude, but that's who I am. An Aries with a lot of Taurus, and I kind of tell it like it is without a filter. So I'm really holding back my tongue today just to be able to make a point without having to use images that are not really, fun, but they make a point. So as we are cleansing out, like, recently I've gone on a eating plan that's clean food, and I got rid of all the old. The same thing happens with emotions as we are wanting to connect to love and making that happen every day. There's a quotation I want you to memorize. Love brings up anything unlike itself to be healed. That quotation I got back in 1983 when I used to watch a woman named Terry Cole Whitaker. She used to have her own television show on Sunday. She made that quotation, and I thought, she said it, and I went, I've got to memorize this, because that means that when we fill ourselves with love and know that we're loved, guess what happens? It's going to push out all the negativity. All of the negativity. So what comes up? Insecurities and fears and worries. And a lot of people tend to then want to analyze that. And when we analyze it, that's the worst thing in the world to do, because it just wants to get out of our being. It wants to leave. So the key is, when you have an emotion that comes up, greet it. So let's say a worry comes up. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, why am I so worried? I don't want to feel worried. Let me eat something so I calm down. Or let me have a cigarette so I'll calm down. Or let me have a cocktail so I calm down. We use external things in order to cope. It's time to stop coping, and it's time to start greeting the emotions that come up and say, thank you for coming up. I know that you've been inside of me for a long time. So I want to see you as a child. Appear to me as a child. So you'll either see a little boy or a little girl. I usually see them around age 4. And I find that the little boys usually come up when there's anger. If there's a lot of hurt and pain from the past, a little girl comes up. So I'll talk to her and I say, oh my gosh, it must feel terrible to be worried like this and to feel so insecure. So I'm going to make sure that you don't do that anymore, because one of the things we know through all the greats, Einstein, Da Vinci, Tesla, is that we can't create energy, we can't destroy it, but we can convert it. So when you're talking to that little girl or little boy in your mind, just say, I'm going to open my heart chakra and I'm going to send you a beam of green light into your heart chakra. And green is the color of that chakra. So you want to send that beautiful emerald green and just say, I'm going to transform and convert your energy now to pure love instead of what you were before. So as you send that green light, you all of a sudden start seeing that child smiling, and then you know that they're receiving it. And then they almost take on like a little green glow, like a green aura, and just say, doesn't that feel good? And so the little girl will say, yes, or she'll just nod and just say, okay, now what I'd like you to do is, because there's so many people that are sick on the planet and so many animals that are sick, why don't you start going to hospitals and then send the same green light that you have in your heart, send it to each animal as you go from room to room, or send it to each patient. And you're going to have an incredible purpose in life and you'll be able to heal. So they agree to it and they start moving away, kind of like when you release a balloon, it gets smaller and smaller. And right before they're ready to disappear, they wave. And you turn something that was very negative, and instead of trying to cope with it, you actually converted it, changed the energy, and gave it a purpose. And now you've done something really wonderful. And anytime that energy comes up, just keep doing the same thing. And you'll be surprised at how quickly we heal from all those old things, because we can have an insecurity or painful past or something even stuck in your thigh. You know, you don't know where it's coming from, but it's there. So once you've released it all, you're going to have a void in that area, wherever it came from, and just say to my higher power, God, the source of love, replace that spot or the area where that energy was released and replace it with pure love. And then wait about 5 minutes and watch what happens. You feel really balanced. So once you're balanced and you've been able to visualize what it is that you need, for instance, I'm going in for knee replacement surgery in a couple of weeks. I needed to get a lot of things, limited budget, however, but one of the things I needed was a recliner, because it's easier to recover from a recliner than a couch or a bed. That's more painful. So I kept envisioning, I looked at the picture of one that I saw, it was like $500, but they can go from 500 to 1,000, because I wanted the ones that has a power lift where it actually causes you to be able to stand up. And when you first are recovering, it's painful. I also wanted automatic so that, you know, I can lift up the foot part of it and also going backwards or forward so I could sleep. Guess what? I saw it clearly and I said, I need this, and I'm going to cast this burden and give it to my higher power of love, the source of love, and I set myself free. I speak this into existence now. I'm deserving of this. This is nothing for the power of love or the source of love. Manifest this for me in the way that you feel that would be best. Well, something told me, because you know intuition kicks in when we do this. My intuition said, put an ad on nextdoor.com. I did. There was a lady that immediately contacted me. She goes, one of my friends just put an ad on Facebook. Her grandmother died and she's loading a recliner just like the one you need in her truck right now. And they happen to be in your town of Hollister right now. She texted the woman texted me back. This happened within about a minute and a half. 20 minutes later, that recliner was in my living room, and it didn't cost me a thing. It was free. And again, this is speaking it into existence, even if it's a small thing or it's a large thing. I've done the same thing with money that I need, and I visualize it, and I speak it into existence, and I count it out on my hand, and sure enough, it shows up every single time. Sometimes it takes like 72 hours. It's taken me up to a week sometimes, but it still manifests. And I learned that particular technique through a person that I met at my church back in 1970. His name was Mark Victor Hansen. You might remember him. He wrote a book called Chicken Soup for the Soul, but he used to come to our church all the time back then, The Science of the Mind, and speak, and taught us that we have a universal bank and how to go in there, be very creative, and then just count what you need, but don't take more than you need. So this is what I do, and it works every single time. So these stories that I'm telling you are current ones, but it's happened all my life, because how does a simple Mexican girl from Santa Clara, California, all of a sudden grow a business and has clients worldwide and written about in books? I mean, I'm humbled, but I'm also kind of blown away. But it all started out with the visual. It started out with feeling deserving. And I actually rated my life from 1 to 10. And when I rated it a 10, this was my blueprint of how I wanted it to be and how I wanted it to manifest. But then, you know, you have your own vision of it. But when you release it and give it to your higher power or the universe, it will then maybe tweak some of it or make some adjustments in order for us to have the best possible results. And I love that, because sometimes mine won't manifest the way I saw it, but actually it manifests better because we deserve more. So we have a tendency of trying to control, saying that this is the way it's going to happen. Sometimes the answer is no, it's going to happen this way, and it changes the timing. So I always say these two words, divine order and divine timing. That brings me peace, because if we try to control, what happens is that we cause things to then perhaps delay because we want it our way. But as soon as we release timing, we also release anxiety, because if we can't trust that which created all things with love, man, that's pretty egotistical. And nah, I'm not having that. So when people tell me that they're spiritual, and I look at them and, you know, my blunt nature, and I'll just say, no, you're not. And they get mad at me. What are you talking about? You're not spiritual. You know a lot of things about spirituality, but you don't live it. So what do we know? We know that spirituality is the way we live our lives. It's not about knowing information. It's kind of like, I always tell my students, I'm like a personal trainer. If you want to have a nice core and tightened, then you use this machine and do this many reps. Then you do sit-ups and do this many reps. And if you do this on a daily basis, you're going to have a great core, and you'll probably end up with a nice little six-pack. But if you have that information, but yet you don't do those repetitions, or you don't use those machines or do the sit-ups, is it going to change? No, it will not. It will stay exactly the same. So anytime we learn something and it resonates with us and we really like it, you don't say, I'm going to try to do it. No, just do it and watch what happens. And I always tell my clients and students, do this for 7 days and then don't do it for 7 days, so you can see the contrast. And you're going to go back to doing it because you're going to like feeling good all the time. So the key here is that you establish it into your daily regimen, just like brushing your teeth every day. You know, it gets kind of gnarly when you leave it for 3 or 4 days. Gross. Yeah. But that's how you feel when you don't connect to the source. You're on your own, and there's so much anxiety, and people pay way too much attention to the external world. Do something about it. Get yourself centered so that you are powerful. Then you speak things into existence, and they manifest not only for you, but also for the planet. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We can do this. We can change the vibratorial frequency of this planet because we are powerful. And when people say, I'm just one person, yeah, you are, and you're very powerful and you can do this. So you want to start with things that you need for yourself. And then, you know, like the ripples on when you throw a pebble in the water, you see the ripples, and then it starts affecting everything else. So paying attention to the outer experiences and some of the chaos that we're seeing can cause us to make decisions about how we're going to react. Because yes, this planet is one of free will. But guess what else is? How we're going to react. That's also a decision. That's also free will. Is it going to get the best of us? Oh my God, look what's happening. Now what's happening? Oh, it feels like nothing's working out. That's not what you want. What you want to do is to say, okay, this is happening. I see it like a parade. When, you know, you're sitting at the sidewalk and watching the parade, and it's coming by, and then it stops in front of you. And then you can react or not, and then it just keeps going. One thing about this world and what is manifesting is that it is really an illusion, and it's actually temporary. That's the one thing that's constant about life, is that it always changes. But the way we react to whatever is happening is what can do damage to ourselves or we can just observe. I prefer to just observe it, but I'm always aware of when there's pain in the world, and I open my heart in order to send it to people that really need it. A lot of people right now need it. I wish that we could reach to even more people and just say, don't you know how powerful you are? Don't you know that you can make a difference? And when I saw that planet, I went out again to the Milky Way, and the voice told me a lot of things. And he said, look, it's getting brighter. It's getting brighter. It's starting to work. And I noticed, I looked at planet Earth, and it was getting brighter. So we are actually making a difference. So you want to pass on this information to other people so that they start doing it. Take 5 freaking minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. Connect your heart to the source of love. Then when you're done, give thanks for all your blessings. And when we do that, we get more. It's not difficult. This is not rocket science. This is going back to simplicity, but I'm giving you just a few more things to consider, because once you start to enact them into your life, you're going to find, wow, I don't freak out now when I have an emotion that comes up that I'm feeling. And then again, remember that we also do have things such as biorhythms. There's a wonderful website called bio-chart.com. And all you do is enter your birthday and then click on calculate, and it brings up the reading for your mental, emotional, and physical. And it gives you the readout. Sometimes we hit these days that are called critical. That happens in cycles, like the emotionals every 2 weeks on the same day. And so what happens is that if we're hitting a critical, it's like there's nothing we can do. We can meditate, but it still gives us a gnawing feeling like, why isn't this going away? That's the time that you want to actually go to the website and see if you're having an emotional critical day. Sometimes you have 2 of them that are hitting critical, and that is a nightmare. So you actually just want to say, okay, today I'm going to take off. I'm not going to do anything that's stressing me out. I'm going to allow myself to enjoy. And what does the little child inside me need? The little child inside me needs to play more. And perhaps I need to listen to music. Whatever we do, when we play, which means downtime, observing, watching something funny, a movie or something, or listening to music, that heals the emotions and it brings us back to balance. So when we need balance, do whatever it takes. If you want to go out and garden, that's creative, using more of the right brain. The right brain and the heart are connected, and so are the gut. The gut is the 3rd chakra, which is the diaphragm area. That is a brain. This is a brain. This is a brain. When there's a lot of emotional stuff going on in the 3rd chakra, you can then send love to yourself and it will heal the 3rd chakra. Or you can listen to tones that vibrate to those frequencies. So the color yellow vibrates to the key of E. The heart vibrates to the key of F. And then this, which is the intuitive area, the pituitary and pineal gland, sorry, just had a brain fart. It vibrates to the key of A. So what I like to do is when I buy chimes that I have outside, and they're in the key of A. Never buy chimes that are made of copper, because they're going to mess with your neurological system. But when you have them like in the key of A, it does open up intuition, so I can't leave them going all day long. Otherwise, I'm always open. So it's always good to buy the key of F, because that opens the heart. And for me, because I live now in Hollister instead of on the coast, there's a lot of dogs outside. So when I let the chimes go, it causes them to fall asleep and stop barking. So they also react to that as well. I'm also a big believer in bagwas, having a bagua in your front door and in the back in order. It's a mirror, and it's part of feng shui. And as energy comes towards you that's disruptive, it's automatically neutralized and sent back out. So bagwas are really good to use. I love tools, I love solutions, and that's what I'm all about. So as we're going into this year, watch how things are going to be going through quickly, very fast. Everything's happening fast, and then it's going to settle down. Also, the voice told me that in the summertime, the cases for COVID-19 are also going to really drop, almost flatline. They'll go up a little bit in the fall, and then as you're going into Christmas and into up to March, it'll be completely gone by then. That's the predictions that I got from the voice. The predictions I got last year, oh my gosh, they were so specific, everything happened. Everything manifested. I was never stressed out because I knew it was going to happen. So anything that you're seeing right now, remember this, that because of the age of Aquarius, even karma has sped up. And those who commit acts of cruelty or injustice, they're going to find that they're going to be paying their karma here really, really soon. So don't ever be concerned about anything. When you stay focused in love, you stay focused on results, you stay focused on speaking things into existence, and your life has something called miracles. Miracles are normal, but when they first happen, man, they feel really great. It's like, this was a miracle. How did I get this reclining chair? To me, that wasn't a miracle. I spoke it into existence and I saw it. I visualized it in my living room, and sure enough, it was there really fast. And I've manifested other things, even moving here. It was unbelievable. I had $500 in my wallet and I needed to move in 6 weeks. You know how expensive it is to move. Guess what? I manifested somehow $25,000, and I was able to find the help, especially with my knees at the time. I found the help I needed, and the place that I found belonged to one of my clients, and her tenant was just about to move out in the month of May of that year, and I needed to move out in May of that year. And so everything just flowed because it goes through divine timing and divine order, and there's no hiccups. It all flows, and everything that you need is answered. It's kind of like having your own personal genie. Think of it like that if you want to, because actually that does not offend the source. It doesn't offend spirit or the I am or the Om. Now, if it's difficult for you to connect to that source, gosh, there's so many videos on YouTube. And YouTube is great because you can actually find, the Tibetan monks chanting Om or any of the powerful Buddhist chants. But I love the 110 hertz frequency. It just sounds like a like that, and it changes things up here. Now, why is 110 hertz so important? Because as scientists travel from all the wonders of the world, they decided to measure the frequencies at each location, and they were all vibrating at 110 hertz. Isn't that interesting? So they decided to try other areas where they have these holy buildings that have been around for thousands of years, like in Cambodia. They went to one there. They measured the frequency, 110 hertz. I found that to be so captivating and so interesting that I went online and I actually found 110 hertz. If you want to email me, I'll certainly send it back to you, because this way you can have it in your computer and just listen to it, or as on your playlist on your cell phone, and just listen to it while you're busy doing other things, and your mind is picking up and it's aligning you to 110 hertz, which automatically connects you to everything else that's vibrating at the same frequency. So there's a lot of things that we can do in order to help us help ourselves. So I have no idea how long I've been talking because I'm long-winded and I can talk about so many things, but I think that my time is up. I'm not sure. Anyway, if there's anything you need from me, you can always go to my website, monnica.com, MONNICA.com. And that wasn't always my name. It was given to me in 1983. I woke up one morning and I saw Monica with 2 N's, and I just said, oh, I guess I'm supposed to change my name now. So I did. And it means the advisor, but I don't know why the 2 N's. Oh, yes, I do. It's because of numerology. It gave me a better numerology. It gave me a 6, which is a number of love. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this. If there's any questions that you have, of course, you can always go to my website, email me from there, and I'm more than happy to help you out. And again, I do teach a lot of the lessons. Look at this, I'm talking over myself now because I'm trying to get too much out. I actually have OCD, and with OCD, my brain works very quickly and I speak very quickly. I have been working on slowing that down. And I'm also now starting to say, actually not starting, I'm saying this now, but I wanted to fess up. I'm saying now, I used to have OCD. I don't have it anymore. But when you do readings, OCD actually comes in handy because I'm telepathic. So I hear information and repeat it and hear it, repeat it, which is why I have to record them in order for people to have a copy of what I said, and they don't have to take notes. So it does help with that. And, staying, again, I don't know how much more to emphasize that if you want to change the trajectory of your life and have, not only have it all, but mostly what you're looking for is peace, joy, harmony. Happiness comes and goes. But the key is that just part of life? We have to have highs and lows because that keeps us human. It gives us empathy. If we don't know what it's like to suffer, then we can't have compassion for other people that suffer. So we do have to go through our experiences and we have to make it okay because it contains a lesson. And understand that anything that we manifest in our own world, we actually did that ourselves. So we don't get what we want. We get who we are. So when people keep having same relationships with the same problems, but a new name and a new face, it's because they're not learning something. So it's not that this planet is cruel to us, giving us all these terrible experiences. It's saying to you, hey, you need to make some changes on the inside if you want a different reality and a different experience. So always ask the question, not why is this happening to me, but what do I need to learn from it? And then when you learn and you grow, just remember, you can avoid all that drama just by connecting to the source of love, or whatever you want to call it, God, and then give thanks, and then speak your word into existence, and you shall have it all. Thanks for listening today. And I really am honored. I hope I get a chance to do this again. Take care. Bye.
So, what do you think having that kind of program? I think I think it was a really good job. I felt she was real and she was there for us, and it was a positive thing.
I didn't even know what she was going to speak about in my prayer.
Your prayer was right
stole
in
your
line with what
words.
she was saying. Yeah. Isn't that
It was
neat?
still a connection,
Yeah.
even without being in the same room.
Without being in the same room, yeah. Because I'm sure we can start reaching out to other people as far as picking up, so many UCM ministers are all around the United States that would love to talk. And I thought this was going to be a bust. It was like, what are we going to do? We're going to watch somebody on the screen? But I got bought into it. I don't know how the rest of you felt, but it was great.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you, Corbin, for putting that together. And thank you, Ed, for being here and being able to do this. I'm so excited.
Good. Behind the scenes.
Okay, we have a few-
That screen
We have a
isn't-
few messages that were from the chat,
Okay.
so I wanted to read those in. From Reverend Joan, nice. From Patty and Reverend Joyce, wonderful talk, very informative and inspiring. Thank you, Monica. From Reverend Donna Christensen, I totally enjoyed her message. From Judy, I loved it. Joan brought in, somebody had asked about the book. The book was The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Shin. Reverend Joyce, very good talk. It took me back to practices that I have set aside. I will now bring them back. Thank you. From Reverend Janice, loved it. Got to watch the YouTube later to catch some points I missed. And from Sherry O'Sullivan, Monica is a wonderful speaker. I thoroughly enjoyed her messages. Great information.
Yay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And
Yep.
Sherry is doing beautifully. She had her hip replaced and work done on her back, and she's up walking with a cane, and she is healing amazingly fast. And she was saying that, and this is something I hadn't thought of, she said that she realized she didn't need the amount of pain medication they were giving her, and she on her own cut it back. And she thinks that's one of the reasons she's healing so fast, because she's not so medicated.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we seem to think when a doctor gives us something, we have to take all of it.
Right.
You know, so I thought that was pretty good. And Annie, are you up to passing the basket?
I am.
So this is a time, I'm still sitting here looking at Monica going, that was good, you know. And if you have a chance, this is a time when we take donations. And don't forget, where the books are free, and so you can haul out of here as many books as you want. And we've got some new books out there that are really dynamite. And one like I've got one that's signed by Kathy Jones. Well,
It's in there, yeah.
yeah. that I'm giving away. And then the baskets are $1 and the vases are $1. And there again. And any donations you want to make, any things you want to take, they're yours.
You take the free piece and feel free to leave a donation as well. So giving to the ministry from which we receive our spiritual support and nourishment is an affirmation and consciousness of the truth that Spirit is the prospering power enriching every area of our lives. And so it is.
Thank you so much. That's so fun. I look up and there's a red light beeping at me.
It's winking.
It's winking, yes it is.
Wasn't he at the dance?
What?
Out at the mobile home park? The sock hop?
Uh-huh.
You brought socks? Was he there?
No, you weren't at the sock hop, were you?
Yes, nice to
Pardon?
meet you.
You didn't attend the sock
A
hop,
couple
did you?
years ago.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, he looks familiar.
But the band that played the sock hop,
Yeah.
Blaine has moved to Morro Bay, and he has opened a trailer park where you can, if you're driving up from LA up to here, you can stop in Morro Bay and stay in a 50s trailer.
Oh, how
And it's
neat.
all based on
Oh, wow.
50s, he has 50s music
Oh,
playing and all
wow.
that. And, yeah, and so, you know, he's such an amazing musician, and he's doing something different with his life, he's doing that.
Oh. So are we done?
I think we're done.
Go buy a basket, Lonnie.
Go buy a basket, buy a vase, and, you know, today we have individually wrapped granola bars, we've got spring cheese, bananas. Yes, hey,
Let's do a closing prayer.
let's really pull it together. I can do it if you want.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, April.
Good for Mike. It's not fair that people on Zoom don't get to hear.
Well, yeah, people on Zoom would want to do that, thank you.
So I just feel like it was such a lovely container that Monica and Annie and Jan and Dottie created, that to just bring it to completion, to just allow us to close our eyes and take a deep breath and really anchor in all that we received today. We call upon the divine presence to empower us to take this information and this inspiration and manifest it in our lives and share it with others so that we can heal ourselves and others. Blessed be.
Blessed be, so it is.
Okay, that's what I love about our community, is if you have something to say, you always have a free place to just stand up and share. Yeah, you are important to us. Thank you so very much.
Love you. Coffee and goodies and expertise.